So this is the LiberNovo Omni, and it's been going viral over the past few months as possibly one of the most ergonomic chairs that you can buy right now. It features a pretty unique S-shaped design to perfectly support the human spine, dynamically adjusts when you change your posture, has an electric motor for ultrafine lumbar support adjustments, and even massages your back. So LiberNovo reached out to me and asked to collaborate on a video where I use the chair for a month and put together a list of things that you should know before you buy one. So first things first, before I even get to the chair itself, I want to quickly talk about how big the package is and what the setup process is like. Now it comes in a single box, and the measurements are roughly 70 inches by 70 inches and 50 inches deep. So if you are picking it up from a store or a post office, for example, it should fit into most cars. Now, when I opened the package, the first thing I saw was a huge instruction manual with easy to follow and clear diagrams. And I actually really appreciate this because most of the instruction manuals I get are much smaller, like they're little piddly booklets and often black and white. Now I had this piece of cardboard propped up against my wall during the entire setup process, and in terms of actually setting up the chair, again, it was really straightforward. It took me about 15 minutes. There are a couple of separate pieces that I had to attach, all screws and tools included in the box as well. But all in all, it was pretty easy and I didn't even need a second person to help put the pieces together. So one of the biggest selling points of the Omni is the Bionic FlexFit backrest that actually uses an electric motor to adjust to your body in real time and of course can also massage you. Now the Omni backrest has been specifically designed to fit the S shape of the human spine. So hopefully you can see this little demonstration here, but you can kind of see how my entire spine is in full contact with the back of the chair. There's no gaps, it's right up against it. And if I push or lean back, it's gonna stay in contact with my spine the entire time. And my spine will actually stay in contact even when switching between each of the 4 different recline modes that can be selected via a gear on the lower right side of the chair. There's the 105-degree deep focus mode, the 120-degree solo work mode, 135-degree soft recline mode, and of course the 160-degree spine flow mode. The Omni's SynchroLink mechanism connects the seat, backrest, neckrest, and armrests into a unified system that moves with the body. So every adjustment I make is mirrored throughout the entire chair system to keep my body aligned and comfortable. Now the Omni takes this a step further though by using an electric motor to make slight, real-time adjustments to the amount of lumbar support that I need. Now I can make these adjustments via 2 buttons on the left armrest. Now I personally love this feature because I can make extremely fine adjustments versus other chairs that either have no adjustability or the adjustability is very limited. So for example, I'll lift my arm up so you can see here, but I'm making just very small adjustments there. So if I want lumbar support to sort of come out a bit more, I'm gonna make it go the other way. You can see I can just have really, really fine control over how much it's pressing into my lower back. I can also fully recline the chair, pop my feet up on the optional step sync footrest, and enable what Omni calls the OmniStretch massage feature. Now, it's not like a full body massage like those big massage chairs you see at the mall. Rather, the lumbar support moves up and down to gently relieve tension and decompress the spine. Now, I've found myself using this when I'm taking a break from work or watching some kind of meeting or video, for example, where I don't need to be at my desk using my keyboard and my mouse. Now, it does still work when sitting upright, but personally, I wouldn't recommend it. It just feels way better the further you recline. Also, the armrests have quite a lot of adjustability. Now, I have them fully forward when sitting at my desk and fully back when reclined during the massage feature, so my elbows can rest on them a bit easier. Now, this electric motor obviously requires a power source and is actually a removable 2200 milliamp hour battery in the chair. Now, I found battery life to be pretty good. It will actually last up to 30 days if only doing 1 full massage cycle per day, or roughly 1 year if I'm only making a couple of minor adjustments per day. Now, charging it is very simple. I can just reach down, grab it, and pull it out. and it just charges via USB-C at my desk, and then I just place it back into the chair. I don't even need to look at where I'm putting it. Now, one really important thing to keep in mind when using this chair is using a correct seating position. Now, there is such thing as sitting correctly versus incorrectly, and it can have a big impact on things like avoiding pain or tightness in your back and neck. So if you are going to invest in a chair like this, you also have to learn how to sit correctly. Otherwise, the chair is going to be just a huge waste of money. Now, here's a quick checklist of what is typically recommended. So your lower back needs to be fully supported by the chair backrest, shoulders relaxed, arms hanging naturally, elbows at about 90 degrees, and resting on the armrests. The seat height needs to be adjusted so armrests align with the desk. Your feet are flat on a footrest or the floor. Eyes level with the top third of your screen. And if you do have some kind of head or neck rest, your neck needs to be gently supported by that as well. Now, in my experience, the lower back area is what most people have issues with, including me. Lots of traditional chairs have this gap between the lower back and the butt, which causes slouching and lower back pain. Now, as I discussed before, the Omni addresses this by providing increased lumbar support, so the entire spine is supported. But you need to make sure you buy the correct sized version of the Omni, because if the seat is too shallow or too deep, or the neck rest is too short, for example, you just won't get a perfect fit. So there are two different seat depth versions, 45 centimeters or 48 centimeters, or 18.9 inches and 17.7 inches for those who use imperial measurements. Now, if you want to find out which one will suit you best, there's a pretty simple measurement test you can do. So first of all, find a flat bench or a box or something, sit on it, and then sit as far back as possible so that the back of your knees touch the edge. Sit up straight and measure the distance from the edge of your butt to the edge. If it's over 48 centimeters, go for the 48 centimeter version. If you're at 48 centimeters exactly or under, go for the 45 centimeter version. Note that the 48 centimeter version comes with a standard length neck rest, while the 45 centimeter version features a shorter neck rest. And in case you're wondering, apart from these differences, all other functions and structural designs are identical. Now, quick note here that the Omni is rated for those between 5'2" and 6'2" in height. I'm actually 6'4", so just ever so slightly outside of that height range. And I obviously went with the larger 48 centimeter version. There is some overhang for me, but my thighs in particular are really long, but overall it was still quite comfortable. Now, one thing I've noticed people asking about is why the neck rest seems a little loose on the Omni chairs. And I actually asked LiberNovo about it, and they said that this is actually an intentional design. So the neck rest joint actually mimics the natural movement of cervical discs in the spine, and it leaves a small gap for dynamic neck support. So this allows about 15 degrees of side-to-side motion, so the neck rest moves with you when you turn your head, reducing neck strain. A little wobble or noise, for example, is just proof that the support is working as designed. This movement is necessary for the Omni's dynamic screen alignment feature, where the neck rest and backrest tilt differentially to keep your gaze steady on the screen, while sliding armrests up to 100 millimeters adjust to support you. Now, you do want some kind of flexibility with the neck rest, because if it's locked into place and can't move, it's actually harder to slightly move your head when resting your head against it, which is actually quite uncomfortable when using a computer, because your head is actually constantly moving slightly left and right to look around the screen. So to give you a little example of the adjustability of the neck rest, I'll give you a quick little demonstration. So this is all the way up, this is the highest it can go, and then if I push it all the way down, that's the lowest point. Now, if I hold that little lever at the back, I can actually push it all the way forward, and then all the way back. And you can see that little joint at the back there, how it's kind of rolling forward and back. So that means it's actually quite easy to sort of get it in between that little gap between the bottom of your head and also your shoulders. And it just sort of slides in there quite comfortably. So I hope this video answered at least some of your questions about LiberNovo's Omni desk chair. If you do want to know anything more, make sure to leave a comment down below.